Hello, I'm Otto, and welcome to episode 20 of my Factorio Post Novice Guide. So in the last episode, we left Volcanus and started making our way to Fulgora. We touched down and then came over here to start setting up our what will end up being a little modest starter base. So in this episode, we're going to talk about a couple things. So I want to go over a couple of different ways to deal with sorting these items. There's a few of them we might do like a mix of all of them. So we will get into that shortly. But before I do that, I kind of want to repurpose some of the things that we have going on. So this is the Wizard. This was our like novice to Volcanus supply ship. I want to kind of repurpose this ship to be kind of an all-around supply ship. So I'm going to take away, we're going to continue to have sections like this where we have novice to Volcanus, or, you know, we might, I don't know, label this as just like a novice, something like this. Just like a novice collection or something. No. Let's call this like, there, something like that. These two can now go bye-bye. No, not that one. No. This one. Okay. So this is kind of like a novice supplies, or Volcanus supplies. We will no longer need green circuits, red circuits, blue circuits on the planet, as we have all of that being created. The same goes with rocket fuel, LDS, and refined concrete, and blue circuits. The rest we can continue to get on, or continue to supply over that way. So we're going to add a new section, and we're just going to call this one Fulgora. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. So we definitely want to start bringing some stuff in here. I want to try to keep this largely focused on the ingredients, or let's say the intermediates. So for instance, we can keep the rocket option. We'll have that because we want to make sure that we can bring a rocket in. We're going to add in the refined concrete. Thankfully, we already have it loaded, so we don't have to reload it. We don't have immediate access to green circuits, and like all the circuits in general are a little bit slow to start with. Like, we're going to start collecting some of the items, but it's quite the slow process because the rates that we collect them are kind of slow. We have everything on a single belt, on a sushi belt. Right now we only have like half of a belt filled up. So we are going to kind of repurpose this, or reuse some of this. So we can keep this, what was it, 2,000? I believe the red circuits were also 2,000. We initially had, so we have 600 here and we had 300 for the other one. So we'll just call it 300. We're going to be collecting a lot of this stuff anyways, so it's not a huge deal. We needed what do we need this for? We needed this for potentially upgrading stuff and the rocket silo, but we have that here. Is that 400, or do we need more? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we like doubled it. Oh, because of this here. I don't think we're gonna double it, but having it going to Volcanus is fine. And if we just needed the extra, I mean, we're gonna have access to it either way. What else? Okay, rocket fuel is gonna be super, super easy, so we're not worried about rocket fuel at all. Steel is something that you kind of need a little bit early, but you will find very quickly that steel and iron plate and gears are things that you really, really end up with a lot of them. So it's not like a big deal to have them. Sometimes you can bring some extra batteries, but we're going to hold off on that one too. So for now, this is fine. Some of the buildings and stuff we are going to save for we're probably gonna repurpose the peon to actually, instead of being like our personal ship, or we could either repurpose the jam to be the kind of like collect all of this stuff. I mean, it's already at novice, and then the peon is exclusive for us, and hey, you need to go get this thing real quick. So we need to add in Fulgora. And we're gonna have all requests satisfied. We're gonna have a circuit condition of green check mark, greater than 0. And let's give it an inactivity. $30 seconds. And that should be fine for now. So this is going novice to Volcanus to Fulgora. I think I want to swap these. It doesn't really matter. It's going to end up going novice to Fulgora to novice to Volcanus. I really wish there was a way to like copy and paste these, but there's not. So whatever. We'll just leave it like that for now. Okay, so that one is, we'll call that set up. The peon, I'm going to remove this. These can all stay here for now. It's not a big deal. We're going to actually tell him, I'm going to leave this as like an unassigned group. So he's going to go back to novice, and he's going to grab us a bunch of accumulators. I don't know, 400 to start with. We're going to be making some of these on Fulgora, but for now he can go back and get some of those. We also, I think that's it for now. We could have had some boilers, but I'm not really too worried about it. Yeah, so for now that's fine. We're going to tell him to head that way. Don't go to Volcanus, please. Oh, and this was supposed to be at greater than 0. So we can have him just going back and forth, collecting some accumulators. The jam is going to be our new, let's call it supplies. And we can just kind of add whatever we want to this. It doesn't really matter. Or we could tailor this specifically to each planet, similar to what we were going to do here. So you could have like a Volcanus, you could have a Fulgora, and tell it to collect everything that we want for this planet and then everything that we want for this planet. And it'll just, if there's extras or duplicates, it'll just add those to it so that it's always bringing in those items. For now, I'm not going to really worry about it. I should have, can I copy? Wait a minute. No. That would have been nice. If we could have just copied and pasted the... Oh, wait. Oh, sick. Not sick. Not sick. No. I don't want all of this. This is fine. All requests satisfied. Circuit condition. Check mark. Greater than 0. Inactivity. 30 seconds. Okay. That works for me. He is getting in some accumulators. There's what? Like 200 on the plan? Okay. All right. Back to what we were doing here. So we need to talk about how we are going to sort through these items. So there's a couple of different things that you can do. One, I have this setup where I have these bringing in items and using the, oh, that's the other thing that I needed. Sorry, real quick. I need some cargo bays. So instead of having it set up like this, we could instead have this connected to the RoboPort. That was a bad idea. That's better. So what it's going to do is it's going to try... Wait a minute. That shouldn't be completely... Oh yeah. Oh no. Okay, yes, it is requesting in basically the difference. It shouldn't be. Just leave it like this. How about we do this instead? Also, bad idea. Okay, anyways, moving along. This should be fine. So we want to... At this point, we're going to have this stuff staying here. If we need access to it, it can stay here. So the reason why I'm doing that is because the storage, we kind of want to have kind of dedicated to other, like everything else that we're going to be pulling up, because one way that you could do this whole sorting method, instead of having the scrap go onto a belt and then the scrap go from a belt into a recycler and then a recycler dumping into another belt, one way of sorting it is to make a little blueprint where you've got a miner. Wow, I need to get rid of all this. Did I not have any... What do I need? Concrete? Alright, let's make a few of these. There we go. Okay, so have the miner go directly into a recycler, and the recycler go directly into a... Oh, we need to move these. Into an active provider, which would then have the bots send everything into your little storage area. And I would probably make a blueprint out of it like that, and then you could just stamp this down and good to go. Maybe even give it a little power supply, something like this. So another thing we're going to do is we're going to take our baby city block and we're going to make a copy of it. So I'm going to get out here away from stuff. And we can use the lightning rods. And check and see, that should be, yeah. So that is enough to have full coverage, which is great. So it works with our city blocks. The duplicate I'm going to update. So we're going to have a very Fulgora specific city block, which is going to be that one. And now when we place this, we can, you know, place things down and have lightning rods, which is great. We don't have to worry about anything being destroyed, assuming that we have some lightning rods ready and on the go, which at the moment we kind of don't. But we need to get some of that stuff automated. So anyways, what else do we need? Stone brick. Oh yes, the lovely stone brick. I think I said it in the last episode. I love the music on Fulgora. It is great. Okay, so this will get us some stone brick going once the power comes back. Oh, we just lucked out on this one. Wow. Perfect. Okay, this is potentially bad. Stone brick. There, that's better. And these did not connect. Okay, so as you can see, the miner is going into the recycler is dumping into the active provider, and then the bots are taking care of the rest. Once we get enough power, we would put some speed modules in this. As you can see, the scrap is piling up faster than the recycler can handle. So that's one way of dealing with this, and this is extremely bot intensive, obviously. Our Logi bots, we only have 100? Wait, what? No. Okay, 250. And construction bots 100. Google Gadget bots. Okay, so that is one way of doing this. Another way is this belt sorting method. So you could, well, let's say have this come up this way. I only have 4, whatever, that's fine. We definitely need some of those accumulators. Let's add that section in for... Nope, not that one. Well, I mean, yeah, sure. I want that unassigned group. Nope, I'm gonna have to assign it. This one here, we'll just call it... I don't know. Fulgora 2. Okay. Yeah, Fulgora 2. Let's do it. Uh-oh. We definitely need to get some more accumulators out because that is going to be one of the biggest problems, is not so much the energy that we're using, but the lack of accumulator charge. The lightning rods are plenty enough to fill us up. And we are just waiting on thruster fuel and thruster oxidizer. Okay, so when they get back, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to set up some city block in this area. I just accidentally rotated. I also want to use the parameterized blueprint. And get some of those lightning rods going. You know, we can have a section for the recyclers too. And the bots can take care of the rest. Okay, so we want to take a section of these and just kind of figure out where we want to start placing these. We're just going to use, basically this whole top section is all going to be accumulators, so we can just start stamping it down, and at some point the bots will just continue to build off of this. We do need to give it some power though. Maybe we can use this as like a baseline. Maybe not. I should have used a more open area. Tell you what, let's just, how about we do this? If we really wanted to, we could probably just use this as like a parameterized, not a parameterized, like a grid. We could snap to grid. Let's look into that. Let's see if we can. Sure, we'll do something like that. Obviously our accumulators have arrived. We just need to make sure that they have access to power. It looks like they do. These do not have access to lightning rod. That's going to be a problem. Steel. Okay, that will be fine. All right, so the second, so we covered this method. So this is kind of like, I feel it's really nice having something like this, especially once the bots get a lot more speed. And this kind of makes it so that like everything that we're bringing into the planet will be stored here. And then everything that is accessible on the planet will be stored here. And we will have, or we would have something like, I don't know, you could set up requester chests with recyclers. I don't have any on me. Let's say something like this. Attach all of these to a roboport. Maybe not a roboport. Maybe we would do like a, I don't know, constant combinator and decider combinator combo. There are certain things that we wouldn't really want to get rid of. So for instance, the holmium ore, maybe holmium plate. Some of the stuff that we definitely want to keep a lot of on this planet. Maybe blue circuits and LDS. And then you would give these like, I don't know, minus, I don't know, let's go high. Let's go like 100,000. Maybe these we would do like minus 10,000. And then we would say, okay, if anything Anything, maybe each. If each is greater than, I don't know, let's say 10,000. That's a pretty good high number. And give this power. So we can actually see what's going on. So if any is greater than 10,000, then output each. No. Because we wouldn't want it requesting the whole thing. We'd want it requesting like the difference. Let's say that let's do it this way. So each minus 10,000 output each. So that would give us anything positive. So if anything is greater than 0, output input signal, and that would request using the circuit network in the front of the decider combinator, that would request in anything set requests. There. Okay, so RoboPort reads all of the items in the logistics network. That covers everything here, plus anything that's out in any of the logistics chests. We connect that to an arithmetic combinator that says subtract 10,000 from everything and output each of those signals. That goes into the decider. And this says if anything is greater than 0, so if it's more than 10,000, output that input signal. And then set requests for any signal coming in. So if we had 10,100 of, let's say, the gears, then this would just trash every single gear that came in that was above 10,000, minus whatever you maybe want to set here. So we would get a massive surplus of holmium ore. Like, that's just one way to set up this whole section here. If you wanted to have a very bot focused area, this is one way to do that. And actually, I think I might just we'll just make a blueprint of this anyways, just in case we want to use it later. Same with this guy. I will post these blueprints in my Discord. What else? Okay, so this, whoops. That's one way of sorting. So another way of sorting is to embrace the sushi belt. So you could still have maybe like a bot focus, let's say, but you would have, let's do this out here. You would take each of your individual items, and there are 12 items, and you would filter splitters for each one. So you would say like, okay, stone in one, solid fuel, something like this. Is that 11? One more. I'm just kind of doing these randomly. I'm not like actually thinking about what it is. Steel, copper cable, processing units, LDS, ice, red circuits. What else? Batteries. Chromium ore, right? And concrete. So you take all these and filter them to the right. Preferably before you set the filter, that way you can copy and paste one for filtering to the right. Nope. They do something like that. And then you would, for instance, have another splitter in front of each one so that whatever was coming out this, you know, is the filtered item. And then have those items coming out with this filtering, no filter, but priority right. And then the rest is continuing on through here. Okay, so something like that. And you could also have, if you wanted a bot focus with this as well, just have something at the end collecting each one. Okay, so this is another option, and then you would probably filter each one for whatever item it's bringing in. This is another bot-based way of doing it. You would have situations where, for instance, the gears would stack up way faster than, say, the processing units or the holmium ore. So this is another way to kind of filter things. And then maybe one of the last ways is to instead... just going to branch this off so I can kind of showcase. Nope. Showcase a different way. So instead of having everything filtered into a logistics chest, you might say, okay, so I want to build, I don't know, let's take the lightning rod. That's probably a bad example. Is this a good example? This is a great example. Let's take the recycler. I want to make a recycler. So I would have a situation where I would have something like this set up and have, okay, I know I need steel, I need gears, I need blue processing units, and I need concrete. So I would take a concrete section that's similar to this. I would take a blue circuit section similar to this, and I would branch off from the sushi belt using a setup like this, and then have the like dedicated sections for that. That is obviously, doing it this way is going to be very space intensive. But those are the main options. I don't really have a preference, so we might just kind of do a mix of all of them. I have generally done something like this. Like, I don't mind having a bot, like a bot base for Fulgora, especially for Fulgora, because it's very, you know, this is, like I said before, this is actually a massive platform, so we don't necessarily have to do things any particular way. The platforms that I'm kind of used to playing on are probably similar to this, like half the size. Yeah, so I've also done something similar to this, where I might have, okay, I cleaned out, let's say, all of this section here, but I still had this little patch back here. Well, then I would drop some of these on top of this section back here, just to try to like get rid of the contents that are there, but also not really get in the way with trying to bring in like a scrap belt somewhere and feed it into recyclers and figure out what's going on with that. So anyways, this is not really a big concern because once we start kind of spreading out, we're going to be doing things different anyways. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. My kind of initial thinking is that maybe at some point we have all of these little islands that could be used for things like, you know, crafting specific items. Like if we wanted to make very specific things on some of these islands, we could, and then have them trained out and onto the main area here. The downside of using trains on Fulgora is it's space. At the end of the day, it's just going to be space. You don't have as much space to kind of manage things. These all would have needed power. Yeah, so those are the kind of main options. Having a bot set up like this where they are filtering into storage, but obviously you can kind of see that if we were to, you know, have a lot of setup over here, that they would be traveling quite a distance to get to this section over here, or, you know, whatever. Same goes with this. Like, this kind of at least has your storage decently close to where your mining is, so, you know, you have extra room out here to, I don't know, do like bot mall type stuff, but then that becomes a problem once you start getting into liquids. But anyways, so we are gonna end it there. In the next episode, we're probably just gonna dabble with a lot of this. Actually, we are going to continue on with this because obviously things that make it past the filter have to, I should have been filtering better. There we go. Yeah, that's much better. There will be times when some of this stuff starts to fill up, as an example, and you are going to... Wait, what? No, 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 no. Why are you making it pass? Oh, okay, so things are... Anyways, sometimes things are gonna make it too far, and sometimes you want to break apart some of these, so you would do some extra recycling, and we will do some more of that over here, but we do need to start working towards our electromagnetic plants, which we are going to do in the next episode. So yeah, if you've been enjoying my content, well, you know what to do. Like I said, we are going to continue on with just making some, you know, little starter section here, continuing to process our scrap, and we are going to aim for trying to get an electromagnetic plant in the next episode. Okay, so that's it for me for now. I will see you in the next one, and thanks for watching.